Most of us have known our guest speaker for many years. She's a great entrepreneur, owns a number of businesses, and is well known to Campbell River. Leslie Haynes owns Curves Women's Fitness, as well as Discovery Trekking Outfitters. And Discovery Trekking Outfitters was the finalist, one of the finalists for BC's small companies for the running last 2 years. And she also, the company was also rated as one of the top green companies in BC. So this is a tremendous tribute to our guest speaker today. Leslie and her company, they ship their product all over the world, and it is made in Campbell River, manufactured in Campbell River as well as in Mexico. And this also has added some challenge to her life. Leslie has had several previous careers. She was an insurance adjuster, a negotiator, and mediator. She has 2 grown children, is an active grandmother, and she is as well a licensed Zumba instructor. So let's put our hands together and welcome Leslie Haynes.
Hello everyone. Thank you for having me. When Marlene is actually a member of Curves, and when she asked me if I would mind speaking, I said, well, what would you like me to speak about? She said, well, why don't you tell us about Discovery Trekking? Well, in 15 or 20 minutes, I could probably get the problems I've had at Discovery Trekking in the past week. So instead, I've decided I would just give you kind of an overview of what it is that I do. I have 3 different companies, and none of it makes any sense, but so I'm going to tell you why I do all the crazy things I do and how it kind of works for me. So I'd like to call this talk, How I Aspired to be an Avon Lady. By the way, did everybody hear the Big Bang this morning? Yep. Does anybody have a Big Bang theory? So I was kind of wondering about that. Anyway, I own Discovery Trekking. I used to be an insurance adjuster for ICBC for many years. Barry McClellan can attest to what fun it was to fight with me. And so as an insurance adjuster, it's just an automatic thing that you would then become a manufacturer, right? Well, Discovery Trekking started as a home-based business. I've always kind of made stuff. I've been kind of an entrepreneur all my life. And I used to make equestrian outerwear when my kids were growing up because we had horses. And I called my business the Dog and Pony Show. And when, about 10 years ago, ICBC was looking for volunteers to take buyouts, and I had about 18 years experience there. So I decided I would let them pay me for a year while I didn't work there anymore. So I left ICBC. And I thought, oh, I'll sell pencils, or I'll, do whatever. I'll probably be a negotiator, mediator, whatever. I never thought I would end up being a manufacturer. I didn't have the first clue about how that worked. But in any event, I had some really good ideas. And so the next thing you know, I are one. I bought the building on Ironwood about 5 years ago because I had more than one business and I thought I could move it into that facility. So at Discovery Trekking, I don't know if, some of you have been in the store and bought some stuff from us. I'll just explain briefly what it is we do. We have about 5 different product lines. One of them is technical outerwear. So if you come into our store, we make amazing jackets and pants, and they're all cut one at a time, and they fit you perfectly. Very difficult to do in Canada because we don't pay 50 cents an hour here in Canada, and we use materials that are very, very high-end. But what we do is keep our styles very simple. We know them really well. You try on a jacket, we make it fit you perfectly. We can actually make a jacket in about 2 hours. So that's why we can make what we make here. But having said that, it's very difficult in Campbell River to have something like that. And were it not for the other things that we make, we wouldn't be able to sustain the business in that facility. So we make technical outerwear. We also make wicking clothing, next to skin clothing. We make a line of sleepwear and bedding called Hot Flash. Guess what? It wicks away night sweats, and And even our pillowcases are moisture wicking, very technical, with silver in them that kills bacteria. We also make a line of equestrian products. Not huge, we make them all here. For example, we make a saddle skirt that equestrians would wear to keep their legs and their saddles dry, and we sell that online. And then you probably heard about the towels. The towels were kind of a little bit of a keen grasp of the obvious. I travel a lot, and I always hated taking a towel, and it would take a lot of room, and then it stunk after a few days. So I started experimenting with moisture wicking fabrics and found that the ones that were intended for high-tech next to skin running wear actually made a great towel. So the next thing you know, I'm contacting Polartec and asking if they'll develop fabric for us that does what I want it to do, dry super fast, but also have the silver in it, which kills bacteria, so it doesn't stink. That's one of the problems with the wicking wear that you buy. It attracts bacteria, and after the antimicrobial agent washes out of it, you can't get the stink out, so our stuff doesn't do that. So, we manufacture in Campbell River, but we actually had to do some outsourcing, because when I started selling to Amazon and Bauer and REI and Brookstone and those kind of retailers, we needed someone who could make more than a few towels at a time, and I wasn't about to go to China. So I called the guys at Patagonia and asked if they could help me find somewhere where we could do contracting cut and sew in North America. And they recommended a plant in Mexico, and the next thing you know, I'm down there and meeting the Mexicans with the automatic rifles. But anyway, we up until this week had a really good relationship with them, and we've now been told that we actually are too small to be dealing with them, and now we're looking for a different contractor, but that's another story. That's my 15-minute story. So in any event, I also own Curves. Curves is women's 30-minute fitness. Fitness is a really tough industry because everybody wants to look like they exercise, but nobody really wants to do it. So Curves actually has had some challenges. Curves is a large franchise, the biggest fitness franchise in the world, and the club is suffering dramatically here and all around the world with numbers dropping. And so they came up with the idea that one of the biggest problems for everybody really is obesity. And fitness wasn't cutting it. When women were coming to Curves, they were working out for a little while, but if they had a little weight to lose, it just wasn't doing the trick, because when they went home, they were eating all the wrong foods. So now Curves has come out with a new program called Curves Complete, which is a diet mainly to get the weight off and fitness at the same time, so that we're addressing the problem and not pussyfooting around the fact that women need to lose weight. And we're not only giving them that weight loss coach, but we're giving them personal coaching. All my staff is trained by the Cleveland Clinic in fitness and nutrition, so they meet with those ladies once a week and they go over their meal plans, and we monitor them like dogs. You know, we can't get away with anything now at Curves. We phone them if they don't show up. So it's actually very successful there. But going back to Discovery Trekking, I'm not only a Curves owner, but I'm also a vendor to Curves. I came up with the idea quite a few years ago when I joined Curves, before I owned one, that the circuits are all the same. There's 10,000 Curves in the world, and they all have the same circuit. And I thought they should have covers for all the machines that were more hygienic, that were more durable and would protect the equipment. So I came up with this idea of using high-tech fabrics and making washable covers for the circuit, and then I started marketing them one at a time to all the clubs in the world. And the next thing you know, I'm a vendor. So now I sell my covers to my biggest customer is actually in Japan. There's 1,100 Curves in Japan, and I sell thousands and thousands of covers. Every club in Japan has our covers, and they're all made in Campbell River. So that's kind of cool. One of the things we do at Discovery Trekking that's extremely unusual is we make a swim diaper. We don't make a swim diaper for babies. We make a swim diaper for adults and older children and youth, mostly special needs, aging adults. There are 10% of the world population is incontinent. Nobody wants to talk about it, but these people are active and aging, and they want to be in pools, and nobody wants to jump into a pool that somebody just pooped in. So we make a product that's very niche, and it's in very high demand. But one of the big challenges, you might have to play music for me, because I could talk for hours. One of the challenges is reaching a niche like this, because there's no such thing as one market of people who have this problem, people who have spinal bifida, who have cerebral palsy, who have Parkinson's, some autism, some Down syndrome. It is such a huge demographics of special needs that you can't just contact one of them and say, hey, everybody that has your condition obviously needs one of our products, because that's an assumption and it's insulting to them. And you can't just advertise something like this. I mean, you could if you had a lot of money, but you got to look at the return on your investment, and obviously you've got to target those people who need it. So we're being kind of proactive with social media by going onto Facebook and going onto special needs groups and posting so it doesn't entirely look like spam, but actually it is. But they want it. They're seeking us out, and we make the best swim diaper in the world. And how we did this was to look at something. It actually was the idea of a former business partner that I had who had a special needs son, and she was looking for a swim diaper for him, and she could find one, but they were pathetic. I mean, you get them on and you get in the pool and they fill with air and your bum floats. So that's not very good. And I mean, aging adults, there's so many people that are heads of corporation that have this problem, and they don't want everybody to know they have a swim diaper on, but they want to go with their family to Hawaii and swim. So we needed to make one that was extremely discreet, so that we actually have the fabric made for this. In the States, it's very stretchy and thin, and it's adjustable, and it actually opens up fully and goes under a swimsuit so that you can't tell that someone's wearing it. In fact, if you go to my website, not Discovery Trekking website, I actually have a separate website for this product line. It's called So Secure is the brand name, sosecureproducts.com in case anybody needs one. But you can see a picture of my daughter wearing a swim diaper, but you can't tell she has it on because she's actually got a lovely figure. She's wearing a bathing suit, but she had to lift up the bathing suit so that you could see that she was wearing a swim diaper underneath it. So that is a testament to good design, but this was not rocket science. This was such a simple product. Everything that we have done is just so simple, nobody thought of it. The towel is a good example of that. I mean, it's a piece of fabric, people. It's a square that I'm hemming and selling for $30. But it's the best towel that you will ever use for $30, and it happens to cost a lot to produce it. So that's, I'm not rolling in the dough at this point. Basically, I'm making really good money, but I'm also investing that money back into the business. So the awareness is very difficult with a product such as the swim diaper. So what we do is what I call a symbiotic relationship, both within my own companies and with other partners that I have. So, for example, I just have to look here because I couldn't memorize this. Symbiotic, German mycologist Heinrich de Berry defined as the living together of unlike organisms. So I take two products that I have, for example, Curves, I own a Curves, and I make the product at Discovery Trekking. Then I have a relationship with both of those as both a vendor and a fellow franchisee. I build relationships with other franchisees, and ultimately we help each other with our clubs, and they also buy covers from me. But the swim diaper, for example, everybody that needs a swim diaper is going in a pool, so they need a towel. So those are products that are so different, but yet I find places to sell them to that would be very different markets, but I try to find some relationship to save on marketing there. And one of the other things that I do that's kind of unusual, this could be marketing without money 101. What I do is I build relationships with other companies that have like target markets, but not competitive products. So for example, I found an incontinence provider in the States that makes panties that are quite beautiful lingerie that have an incontinence pad in them and they're washable. I think they're an amazing product. I have them on my website and I sell them on my Discovery Trek, no, on my So Secure website. But I also, if I find a dealer for my products, I also tell them about these other products. I don't get a cut of that, but that's just good karma because I'm helping that company find retailers. They love my products. They're helping me find retailers. So we try to build these relationships And it really does come back to help each one of us. And in our own community, well, I guess I better tell you how I became an Avon lady, because that's the next thing. Curves, as I said, is a difficult market. And Avon is a huge company that's been around for 125 years. Some of the products I can live without, but they actually make the best skincare I've ever seen. And it's also very, very affordable. Curves and Avon have had a relationship for some time, where Avon makes Curves branded products, runners, workout wear, that kind of thing. Curves gets a cut of it, I don't get anything. But in any event, I recently decided that I was having such a difficult time reaching out to the women in the community to sell them Curves, get in there and get in shape because I can save your life, but I can hand them an Avon catalog and they'll take that. If I try to hand them a Curves flyer, they don't want anything to do with me. So I thought Avon would be a really good way to both reach out into the community, share with women that I wouldn't otherwise speak with, and give them an invitation to come and pick up their Avon products at Curves. When they walk in, it isn't as scary as they thought it was. They see other women working out. They don't look like Barbies in thongs. And they see that it's a place that they can go and they can be comfortable and they can be healthy. So that's just another example of, and besides it's actually pretty decent cash flow because women love to buy stuff that they see, and now I have Avon in the club and the members are buying it like lemmings. So it's all about trying to be creative and build those relationships that are symbiotic and help each other to try to support all the different various parts of my business. And having said that, something that you may want to think about and that I have done within the community but I would love to do more is there are a lot of relationships that we could build with each other within the community that would cost nothing, that would support each other's businesses. If I'm doing a flyer, somebody else might want to have the other side of the flyer and share those mailing costs. You all know as business people that advertising is probably one of the hardest things to do right now because you spend all this money and you just don't see the returns coming in on them. So you have to be so wise about that. And if you can just build relationships with people that can build your business, but you have to do it for them too, then it kind of benefits everybody and just works so much better than trying to do it all on your own. So I think that's pretty much all I have to say.
Do you have any questions for Leslie? Ron?
You might not notice, but I've got a Discovery Trekking article on. I've been using it for motorcycling.
Where's your diaper?
And I haven't changed it for 2 weeks.
Thank you very much. Actually, I've got to say, but Val Taylor has been my best friend for as long as we both care to remember. And I won't help her move anymore because she has too much Discovery Trekking clothing to move. Her whole closet's full of it.
Gary?
I was going to ask a question about this.
You're welcome to it.
Gary's not allowed to ask questions because he knows me too well.
On behalf of the club, I'd like to thank Leslie very much for coming out and spending your time with us today. As she alluded to, Steve Frame, Dave Tees, and myself spent many years working with Leslie when she was an ICBC adjuster. And I would like to think that many people in this club have the same tenacity, fairness, reasonableness as Leslie. I mean, Leslie, I was always wanting to check her IQ because I think she's somewhere up there around 200. She's an incredibly hardworking, decent person to work with, and I think it's so neat that we have people like Leslie in our town. And thank you for coming today. And it's always been a pleasure to have known you. So,
well, thank you very much, Gary, and I hope that we see you at DTO because I want to sell you a jacket.
Thank you, Leslie. All right. Can I get today's attendance, please?
President Todd, today